Hi, everyone, and welcome. It is Friday, and this is the Parent Exchange. My name is Tilly Elvrum, and I am one of the administrators here at Parent Support for Online Learning. And we're glad you're here for another week of discussion about online learning and how we can support our students learning at home during COVID-19 and school closures and remote learning and all of kind of the crazy stuff that is going on in our lives. And I have two guests today that are here with some amazing resources to support you in supporting, and today we're going to be talking about girls a lot. And so we're going to be talking with the Girl Scouts of Colorado, and they have some amazing new virtual programming that they're working on and putting out there for your families. So I'm excited. Please help me welcome Emily Speck. She's the Mission Delivery Manager for the Girl Scouts of Colorado. And then Katie Singleton is their Chief Membership Officer. And we're really glad that you're here today. Emily, go ahead. Tell us a little bit about your role with Girl Scouts of Colorado.
Well, the easy way to say it is basically that I oversee our girl programming and our adult training for families and for our leaders.
Awesome, wonderful. And Katie?
I lead our program and membership department, and so basically everything you see girls doing through their groups and through girl programming is something that my team helps support them in.
Awesome, wonderful. So full disclosure, I was not a Girl Scout. I never had the opportunity. And I've always kind of been jealous of all the wonderful things that Girl Scouts get to experience and just the leadership opportunities that you provide and the skills that you develop in our young ladies. So I'm excited to learn more about what you all are doing, but I'm just like everybody, I'm sure COVID-19 has impacted your organization and how you've been able to, get with girls and meet with them and get these opportunities to them. Katie, tell us a little bit about how you've all dealt with the COVID-19 crisis.
Yeah, at the beginning of the pandemic, when we were first entering stay-at-home orders, we, like so many other people, hoped that we would be able to be together in person again sooner than it looks like we're all going to be able to be. And so when we first entered those stay-at-home orders, we stopped. We checked in with our girls and families, wanted to see how everyone was doing with all of our volunteers, and then we moved virtual. We encouraged our troops to start meeting virtually, and we have gone online. We have moved all of our sign-up events online, and while we are doing very small scale in-person programming in that some of our troops are doing some in-person meeting depending on the comfort of their families and where they're at in the state. We are really prioritizing the safety of our girls and our volunteers, and so we're in it for virtual for the long haul. I think even once we are able to return fully to normal and able to have more in-person programming, we'll always have some sort of virtual offering now.
Wonderful, great. I know in this group we have a lot of parents that online learning has been a really integral part of the education of their children. So I think they'll be excited to know going forward that they're going to have ways to access Girl Scouting in the online setting. Emily, how specifically have you all adapted? What new things are you doing?
So one of the skills that we teach girls in Girl Scouts is to be innovative. And I will say that I have seen so much innovation, both from our council and at a national level from other councils, to really, we say the word pivot, right? To pivot our program, what it has traditionally been in person, to a virtual environment. And I would say within weeks of everything shutting down, we really realize that we need to be there for our girls. Like Katie mentioned, not only just checking in with our girls and our leaders, but providing them something to do. I know I've got little ones at home, and I was excited for anything that I could give them to do, during this time. And so it was really great to see our girls interacting with our virtual programming. And, one of the things that's actually been kind of a benefit for us is that we've got girls from all over the state. And if you guys know Colorado, you know that it's very different from in the city to in the mountains to wherever it is. And now we're able to really reach more girls. So some of our traditional experiences that have been, events that we host might only be some girls in, Colorado Springs or in Denver. And now being able to take it to a virtual platform, we're able to engage more girls, and also girls that, maybe haven't had this opportunity before are kind of seeing new ways to engage with Girl Scouts, which has been great.
That's amazing. And it is, we're a big state, and it's easy for us to feel connected on the Front Range, but our families on the Western Slope or in the San Luis Valley, it's a little more difficult for them to feel connected, I think, to some of these bigger organizations. So I think that's amazing. You're opening up the state to
Yes.
that may not leave downtown Denver necessarily, and
Exactly.
so that's exciting as well. I know that you had some clubs and some summer activities. You want to talk a little bit about kind of what that looked like, those first programs that you rolled out?
Yeah, one of the biggest things that we were hearing from our girls, from our leaders, from our caregivers, was that they were wanting some way for their girl to still be able to connect with other girls, even if she's sitting in her living room, right? We all want that, don't we, when we're in this kind of world? And so we really looked at opportunities that could allow that connection, but also allow them to experience the Girl Scout program. So we launched some clubs during the summertime that are going to continue into the fall. And those were, a girls lead STEM club, a Love Yourself art club. We did some story time. We also did it bilingual in Spanish as well, which was awesome. And we're also doing like virtual book clubs for different levels. So those were just some like kind of one-off type of engagements where they could meet, they could socialize, and they had some activities to kind of do on their own. Now, our traditional program is really earning badges and journeys, and which you can imagine happens in person normally, right? So what we did is we have been translating our traditional program to be done in a virtual at-home environment. So we've really looked at everything and given girls step-by-step instructions on how to earn our badges and journeys. And if you aren't familiar with those, badges are skills or knowledge that they earn, and journeys are the same. They just go a little bit further to encourage girls to engage with their community. And even when they're at home, they can still engage with their community in different ways, or even think about their community. So it's been really great. And then I would say the last program I'll talk to before I pass it off to Katie is that we had this really cool Meet an Expert program that I was actually tuning in myself. It's so cool. We actually have women from all different careers join us for a little bit of a Q&A interview, and also to give girls just a peek at what it's like to have their career and see some really strong, awesome, powerful women in some amazing roles. And what's cool is those are also available on YouTube as well. So if they missed the live version, they can hop on our YouTube channel and check those out. But I'll let Katie talk a little bit about some of the virtual starter troops that we did as well.
Yeah, so yeah, obviously, if I'm a new Girl Scout and we're not meeting in person, but how do I become a part of a troop? How do I feel like I'm part of a troop?
Yeah, I mean, everyone, when they think of Girl Scouts, you often immediately go to Girl Scout troops, right? And that troop experience, that local community of girls of the same age who are led by a wonderful role model as their volunteer, that is such an integral part of Girl Scouts. And so we are supporting virtual starter troops right now as an organization where you can basically let us know by going to www.girlscoutsofcolorado.org/join. And let us know that you're interested in getting connected, and we have starter troops that are getting launched all over the state. So ideally, even if you are connecting virtually, it might be the girls who are in your same general area of the state. And that is where our staff are helping guide some activities online for this group of girls who will stay together, and helping parents, helping those adults in that girl's life understand that they can take on that role of being a troop leader and helping guide their girl through their Girl Scout journey.
That's awesome.
And
That's
I would just plug that on that Meet an Expert series that Emily was just talking about. We're going to have one of the upcoming ones is the former Lieutenant Governor would be on it. And so it's super exciting, really, really fantastic people who are participating in that program and speaking to our girls.
Yeah, I would love to sit in on that. And that's one of the things as a parent that chose online education for my children. I've always said when you educate a child at home, you're really educating the family, because the kids aren't learning in isolation. You're often, maybe you're cooking in the kitchen or you're working on your own work, but you're always listening to whatever content they're, using online. And there's been many times where my son would have been doing something. I'd be like, oh, well, that's interesting. Let me read some more about that. So I think that's wonderful. And, what a great way for moms and daughters to kind of spend some quality time learning together. And I think that's wonderful. When you talk about earning a badge online, can you give me an example of like a skill they would work on and how that's translating from, in person to the online environment?
Yeah, I'll give you an example of one of my favorite badges that we did this summer, and it's also one of my favorite ones because I'm a huge science nerd, is that we have these awesome space science badges. And for every age level of girl, they're all the way from our kindergartners all the way through 12th grade, there's a badge that they can earn for this. And really, it's just to get girls looking towards the sky and interested in space. And as they get older, exploring careers, right, in space. But what was really neat and kind of my favorite thing is that when I was breaking up the activities, I was just encouraging girls to go outdoors. And so while this is virtual learning, it's not sitting in front of a screen. It's teaching them how to do a certain activity or how to learn a skill. And maybe they're doing a little research on NASA's site or something like that. But then I'm like, hey, go with your caregiver, go with a sibling, go with somebody in your house outdoors when it's nighttime and look at the stars, right? Look to see if you can see a planet. And like you were saying, getting the whole family involved, that is what I've been getting the #1 feedback of how cool it is that maybe they hadn't been really tuned into what their girl was learning. And since they're hearing it in the background as they're, taking care of the other kiddos, or maybe some siblings are joining in, or cousins or whoever's in the house, that they're really just having a great time with it. And it's given them the opportunity to connect with their girl on a completely different level that they normally don't always get, right, in some traditional like learning environments. So it was pretty cool.
I love that. I love it. And it really is, there's little ones watching, there's siblings, and what a great way to, you're providing a service to girls, but really to their entire family at this point, because we're all we're all locked up together. And so anytime the engagement for the girls is nice, but the fact that families can get involved and do some of these things together, experience them as a family, is a wonderful thing that you're doing. I know you talked about some one-off events that you're going to be offering. One was like self-defense. What other kinds of, like, that it's not necessarily a course or a camp, but a one-off thing that families might be exposed to?
Yeah, one of our series that we started offering this summer and that we're going to be continuing with is called Tools for Independence. And a lot of those practical life skills that sometimes you don't really know where a girl is going to learn how to do some of those things. So some of our past sessions were focused on sewing. Like, how do you sew a button onto a shirt, right? Really practical. How do you, if a girl wanted to learn how to trace a pattern or use a very basic level of sewing machine, right? And so one of the ones that I believe is coming up, I don't think it's passed yet, is self-defense one, and they were going to pull in a professional to help lead this in coordination with our staff. And so really trying to keep checked into what are some really practical life skills that girls can learn and use, that I look back and say, wow, how did I learn how to do that? Or I don't even know how to do as an adult, right? So we're really excited to be able to offer that type of opportunity for girls. Even our clubs, a girl could sign up to participate and only do, pick and choose which activities they engage with. Girl Scouts can really become a, it's kind of like you have a menu and you get to choose exactly how you want to participate, right? And we love being able to offer something for every girl, depending on what their interest is, right? And so definitely would encourage everyone to go to our events calendar and check out all of the things that we have coming up just on our website, girlscoutsofcolorado.org.
And we will share the website links in the chat thread when we're done chatting here for families to access it. Now, I know you guys are offering virtual programming at the state level, and we have families from all across the country here. Are troops, organizations in other states providing virtual opportunities as well?
Oh, yes. Our national level of Girl Scouts is called Girl Scouts of the USA. And what they are doing is they are doing some very similar, type programs and stuff. But what I think my favorite thing is if you go to just girlscouts.org, that's where you get to the national site. There is a tab that's like Girl Scouts at Home. And you click on there, there's lots of fun resources that are very targeted to Girl Scouts. If you look at the virtual calendar, any council, which is what Colorado is, we're a council. So any council that is sharing an event or an activity that girls from anywhere in the country can join, they're posting it on this calendar. Now, some do have costs, some are free. It really just depends on what the event is, but they're all over the place. And I think one of my favorite series that actually Girl Scouts of the USA is doing, is that they're doing this Awesome Girls series. And it's really cool, and it's all different topics affecting girls. Even for our older girls that are listening, so middle school on up, they're launching something called GTTV next week. And it's going to be on their Instagram TV. I'll be honest, I don't really know how that works. I've dabbled in it a little bit, but it's on their Instagram TV, and they'll also be putting it on their YouTube page after it goes live. And it's girls talking at the same age, so middle or high school girls talking to middle school and high school girls about things that are affecting girls that they just might be thinking about. I just think that's so cool to elevate a girl's voice in that way, and that's really what Girl Scouts is about. Is we're a leadership development organization, but we're really about girls finding their voice and their passion in something and communicating that with their community, and that's what these girls are doing, which is really cool. So definitely check out the national site to see things that are all over the country.
Awesome, wonderful. And the thing is as adults, we may not know how to access the applications or the technology, but our kids are digital natives and they somehow figure it out. So my son is always helping me. So I don't think we have to worry about them finding you guys online for sure. Tell me a little bit, like I said, I was never a Girl Scout. What is the process? Like, at what age can you become a member, and kind of what is the process, and how long can you go, and what does that look like over the years for a girl?
Yeah, so girls can join Girl Scouts starting in kindergarten. We go from kindergarten through 12th grade. Some of the most exciting people I've ever had the opportunity to meet have been older Girl Scouts in high school, who just give me a lot of, I just got goosebumps a little bit, but who give me a lot of hope for our future leaders, right? They are going to be the empathetic, kind, thoughtful, strong leaders that we need in the future. But it runs from kindergarten on up through 12th grade. We are accepting members all year round. You see a lot of our troops getting started at this time of year with back to school, but we start troops and we have activities that girls can get plugged into all year round. We do have an annual membership fee of $25. We are one of the best deals out there in terms of extracurriculars, because by signing up for a Girl Scout membership, and you open the door for all of these opportunities. At Girl Scouts of Colorado, all of the virtual opportunities that we've been talking about are free of charge for our members. And so by purchasing a $25 membership, you open up a year's worth of programming that you can access through our program staff, and access to get started in a Girl Scout troop. And I will say that we do have financial assistance available for any family where that is a barrier, because we never want funds to be a barrier for a girl to participate in Girl Scouts.
Well, that's awesome. I mean, $25, that's what, a week of Starbucks or something.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty good deal. And, you know, as a mom, I wish I had a little girl. I'd sign her up. Yeah, and I just know from our neighborhood, we have several Girl Scouts in the neighborhood, and they are great girls, and you can see, you know, their maturity, their social skills, their leadership skills when they show up and it's cookie time. Yeah, they're on it. And so I applaud the work that you all are doing to raise up our next generation of girls. So yeah, where in Colorado, what tell us the website again where we can find out more information.
Yeah, you can go to our website at www.girlscoutsofcolorado.org/join. And that's where you can find information about getting plugged in. I would love to invite everyone who's listening to this to sign their girl up to participate in one of our robot building parties or animal dance parties that we're hosting right now all across the state, virtually. And that's a great way to get a taste of Girl Scouts and to think about if it's a good fit for you and your family. And you can find the links to get plugged in on that webpage of girlscoutsofcolorado.org/join.
That just reminded me, how often does a troop meet? Is it weekly, once a month? How often are they meeting?
It really depends. It really depends on the troop and what works for them. So how frequently they meet, how they're meeting, where they're meeting, it really is up to the troop. So right now we have been talking a lot about, you know, troops might be meeting every 2 weeks. They might meet once a month. They might meet every week if that's what the girls and the parents want. It really is up to them.
Okay, good to know. Those are the questions parents are going to ask as they juggle remote learning and work and all of those commitments. It's always good to know what
I will say,
yeah.
Oh, I will say too that, you know, we've talked a lot about the troop, and that is the traditional way that we do have join Girl Scouts. But if you are someone, or your girl is someone who maybe the troop, it sounds a little daunting to them, it's not quite the experience, but they still want to participate in Girl Scouts, they can participate as an individual girl, and what we, you know, traditionally call a Juliet, because Juliet Gordon-Low, our founder, and they can participate and do all of the things we've talked about for virtual programming, but as an individual girl. So if the troop doesn't sound like the right thing, or you're just not really sure how your schedule is going to be, signing up as a Juliet is also a really great way to get engaged with the program. And you can always decide later that if you're ready to join a troop, maybe in, you know, a week or a month or a couple of years, you can do that as well. So there's some flexibility with how they want to participate as well.
That's fabulous, especially right now where some families are concerned with social distancing and, no matter what might be happening with schools or in the community, they still may be, being a little more cautious. That may be an excellent option. I'm glad you brought that up. Well, Katie Singleton and Emily Speck with the Girl Scouts of Colorado, we are so glad that we were able to speak with you today and to learn more about the great work that you're doing. Please come back if you have any more exciting developments and opportunities for families here in Colorado to access. We would love to share that with them, and we will. We'll connect our families here on Facebook with your social media and your website so that they can learn more. And I encourage families, take advantage of these opportunities now. Your kids really need the activity, the enrichment right now. And so thanks to Girl Scouts of Colorado for providing these opportunities to our kids. And so that's all for today's episode of the Parent Exchange, and we will see you next Friday. Thanks. Bye, ladies.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.